Welcome, miladies of inestimable value. The ones who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who actually do. That's what Steve Jobs said, but let's be honest. He might as well have been talking about Sigmas. These are the people who move in silence, but leave earthquakes in their wake. They're not the loudest in the room, nor are they the ones begging for attention. In fact, most of the time, you won't even see them coming until they've already rewritten the rules and made you wonder how you missed it. Here's a fact to blow your mind. Some of the most revolutionary ideas in history came from individuals who operated in the shadows. Think Nikola Tesla, Alan Turing, or even the elusive Satoshi Nakamoto. Coincidence? Not really. The world's biggest changemakers often aren't the ones with the megaphones. They're the ones playing chess while everyone else is obsessed with checkers. Sigmas are wired differently, and that's exactly why they're destined to change the world. They're like Wi-Fi. You might not see them, but their presence changes everything. Now let's dive deep into what makes these shadow-dwelling masterminds the unstoppable force the world never saw coming. Number 1. They leave an indelible mark without seeking recognition. Sigmas are the kind of people who leave their fingerprints on the world without ever needing to shout, "Hey, look what I did!" They don't crave the spotlight, and honestly, the spotlight wouldn't know what to do with them anyway. Their work, their ideas, and their impact speak louder than any self-promotion ever could. It's not about applause or awards for them. It's about creating something so profound, so transformative, that the world itself bears the evidence of their existence, even if no one remembers their name. This isn't humility, it's strategy. Sigmas understand that the loudest voices often drown out the most meaningful change. By staying in the background, they avoid the distractions of fame, ego, and validation. They focus on the work, on the results, and on the bigger picture. Their contributions often reshape systems, shift perspectives, or solve problems so deeply entrenched that most people didn't even realize solutions were possible. But here's the kicker. Their lack of recognition makes their influence even more powerful. Because when no one's keeping tabs on who's behind the curtain, Sigmas move freely, disrupting what doesn't work and planting seeds for something better. Their success isn't built on fanfare, it's built on substance. They don't just leave a mark, they leave legacies, the kind that ripple through time, touching lives and reshaping industries without ever needing a statue in their honor. It's not that Sigmas don't care about being remembered, they care about what is remembered. And in a world obsessed with selfies and sound bites, their quiet brilliance is a refreshing reminder that sometimes the most influential people are the ones you'll never get the chance to thank. Number 2. They learn from everything, including failure. Failure is like a secret weapon for Sigmas. While most people see it as the ultimate setback, Sigmas treat it like raw material, messy, uncomfortable, but essential for building something extraordinary. They're not the type to throw a pity party or waste time obsessing over what went wrong. Instead, they dissect failure like a scientist examines a breakthrough experiment. Every mistake, every misstep, every rejection becomes a source of data they can use to improve and outsmart whatever brought them down. What sets Sigmas apart is their almost eerie ability to stay calm when things fall apart. Where others panic or give up, they're already recalculating their next move. They don't take failure personally, it's just a stepping stone, a part of the process. And because they don't let emotions cloud their judgment, they bounce back faster, stronger, and sharper than ever before. It's not just resilience, it's an unshakable confidence in their ability to figure things out no matter how bad it gets. This mindset isn't about blind optimism. Sigmas know failure is inevitable, and they welcome it because it gives them an edge. Every setback is like a cheat code that helps them see what doesn't work so they can refine what does. Over time, these lessons stack up, giving them a level of insight and adaptability that others can't match. Sigmas don't fear failure, they fear stagnation. To them, the only real failure is refusing to try or staying stuck in the same place. That's why they keep moving, experimenting, and pushing boundaries. They know that each failure is simply a part of the path to success, and by mastering it, they become unstoppable forces of progress. Number 3. They're silent revolutionaries. Sigmas are the revolutionaries you never see coming. They don't march in with banners or demand attention with grand speeches, they simply act, and their actions speak louder than any performance could. While alphas might thrive on being loud and commanding, sigmas take an entirely different approach. They let their work, their ideas, and their quiet determination do all the talking, and when the dust settles, their influence is impossible to ignore. The brilliance of sigmas lies in their ability to dismantle and rebuild systems without drawing unnecessary attention to themselves. They understand that true power doesn't come from being seen or heard, it comes from results. They are strategic in every move they make, preferring to fly under the radar until their impact is already too deeply rooted to be undone. Their subtlety is their greatest strength, allowing them to operate in spaces others might overlook or underestimate. This isn't about avoiding leadership, it's about redefining it. Sigmas don't lead through domination or charisma, they lead through inspiration and trust. People naturally follow them, not because they were told to, but because the Sigma's actions resonate deeply. Their influence spreads organically, creating a ripple effect that shifts perspectives and changes the game in ways no one saw coming. What makes them so revolutionary is that they don't care about recognition or applause. They're not interested in being celebrated, they're interested in making things better. And because they aren't distracted by ego or external validation, they're able to focus entirely on their mission. By the time people realize the depth of their contributions, it's already too late. The revolution has taken root, and the world has changed, all thanks to the quiet storm that is the Sigma. Number 4. They build bridges, not walls. Sigmas are natural bridge builders in a world that's obsessed with dividing lines. They don't just see differences between people, they understand them, value them, and find ways to turn those differences into strengths. While others waste time choosing sides, Sigmas focus on creating connections that transcend the boundaries most people can't get past. They have a rare ability to step into any space, adapt to the energy around them, and communicate in a way that resonates with everyone involved. Their adaptability isn't about blending in or compromising who they are. It's about understanding the language of others, even when that language isn't spoken out loud. Sigmas are like translators of human dynamics. They listen, observe, and figure out how to align conflicting perspectives without forcing anyone to change who they are. This makes them incredibly effective at bringing people together, whether it's bridging cultural gaps, resolving team conflicts, or building alliances that seemed impossible on paper. What sets Sigmas apart is that they don't demand conformity as a price for connection. They don't try to force everyone into one mold or flatten differences for the sake of unity. Instead, they find common ground in the chaos, pulling threads of understanding from even the most disjointed situations. It's not about control or dominance. It's about facilitating something greater than the sum of its parts. This quiet skill often goes unnoticed because Sigmas don't advertise their role as mediators. They don't need credit or a title to do the work. But when bridges are built and progress is made, their influence becomes undeniable. In a world full of walls, they're the ones quietly creating pathways, showing that unity doesn't mean uniformity. It means understanding, respect, and collaboration. Number 5. They see what others ignore. Sigmas have a radar for what everyone else misses. They don't just see the obvious, they instinctively zoom in on the details that most people overlook or dismiss entirely. It's not just about paying attention, it's about seeing patterns, connections, and opportunities hiding in plain sight. While others are distracted by noise, Sigmas are silently dissecting what's in front of them, identifying cracks in the foundation that others are too busy or too blind to notice. This ability isn't limited to spotting flaws, it extends to uncovering untapped potential. A Sigma can walk into a room or a situation and immediately sense what's not being said, what's being avoided, or what's waiting to be discovered. Where others see dead ends, they see hidden doors. It's not magic, it's a mix of intuition and razor-sharp critical thinking. They aren't afraid to question assumptions or challenge the status quo, even if it makes people uncomfortable. What makes this so powerful is how they use what they notice. They're not the type to just point out problems. They take what they've observed and use it to dismantle inefficiencies, reimagine broken systems, or build entirely new approaches from the ground up. Their insights often lead to breakthroughs that leave others wondering why no one else thought of it first. This sharp perception makes Sigmas both unpredictable and indispensable. They don't follow the script everyone else is reading from, because they've already found the parts of the story no one even knew were there. And when they act on what they see, they don't just change systems, they redefine the rules, leaving everyone else playing catch-up. In a world of surface-level thinking, Sigmas dive deep, proving that the biggest shifts often come from noticing the smallest things. Number 6. They understand the language of loners. Sigmas have a unique ability to speak the unspoken language of loners. They know what it feels like to navigate a world that doesn't always make space for those who prefer their own company. Their own preference for solitude gives them an innate understanding of the struggles, strengths, and nuances of those who feel unseen or out of sync with the crowd. This makes them the kind of person who can connect with the overlooked in ways that feel genuine and effortless. It's not sympathy they offer, it's recognition. Sigmas don't look at loners as broken or in need of fixing. Instead, they see the beauty in being different, in thinking deeply, and in not conforming to the world's endless demand for social validation. And because they live that truth themselves, they become a magnet for those who've spent their lives feeling like they don't quite fit. They don't try to drag the underdog into the spotlight. Instead, they create an environment where the overlooked feel seen and valued, often for the very first time. What makes this connection even more powerful is that Sigmas don't romanticize loneliness or solitude. They understand both the power and the pain that can come with walking your own path. This balance gives them a credibility that others lack, allowing them to be both relatable and inspiring. They don't preach or pretend to have all the answers. They simply show through their actions that being different is not only okay, but can also be a source of incredible strength. In a world obsessed with fitting in, Sigmas stand as living proof that thriving on your own terms is possible. And by quietly championing those who've been left on the sidelines, they become the voice that says, "You don't have to change to matter. You already do." Number 7. They think without boundaries. Sigmas don't just challenge the rules, they question why the rules exist in the first place. Their thought process doesn't fit neatly into traditional frameworks or societal expectations, and they wouldn't have it any other way. To them, the box isn't something to think outside of. It's something to discard entirely. Why limit your imagination to the boundaries of what's already been defined when the real magic happens in the undefined? Their ability to think without boundaries often makes their ideas seem radical, risky, or even absurd to others. But that's because most people are tethered to conventional thinking, afraid to push beyond what's familiar. Sigmas, on the other hand, thrive in the unknown. They aren't bound by how it's always been done. Instead, they focus on how it could be done better, even if it means shaking up long-standing norms or venturing into uncharted territory. This boundaryless thinking gives Sigmas a visionary edge. They see potential where others see impossibility. They're the ones who propose solutions that initially get dismissed as too ambitious, only to have everyone scrambling to catch up once those ideas prove to be not only viable, but game-changing. Sigmas don't just follow trends, they create them, often years ahead of their time. What makes this so compelling is that they don't do it for applause or recognition. They aren't chasing validation, they're chasing progress. And because they aren't afraid to be misunderstood or doubted, they can stick to their vision even when the world isn't ready for it yet. By the time everyone else catches on, the Sigma has already moved on to their next groundbreaking idea, quietly reshaping the future while everyone else is still trying to figure out the present. Number 8. They're the perfect blend of logic and emotion. Sigmas have an almost surgical precision when it comes to decision-making. They've mastered the rare art of balancing logic and emotion, a skill that makes their choices not only effective but also deeply resonant. Unlike those who swing too far to one side, either overthinking every detail or acting purely on impulse. Sigmas instinctively know how to harness the best of both worlds. It's not a tug-of-war between logic and feelings for them, it's a partnership. When facts and data are needed, Sigmas are relentless in their pursuit of truth. They'll analyze a situation from every possible angle, removing biases and asking the hard questions no one else wants to touch. But when cold hard logic isn't enough, they know when to lean into their instincts. Sigmas understand that intuition, rooted in subtle patterns and unspoken cues, can sometimes reveal what logic misses. It's not a gamble. It's an informed trust in their ability to read between the lines. What makes this balance so effective is their self-awareness. Sigmas don't let emotions cloud their judgment, but they also don't bury their feelings under layers of analysis. They're fully in tune with both their heart and their mind, allowing them to make decisions that are not only rational, but also human. This makes them uniquely equipped to handle challenges that require both strategic thinking and empathy. Whether it's navigating a business crisis, solving a personal dilemma, or building relationships, their decisions aren't just impactful, they're transformative. Sigmas have a way of cutting through chaos and finding solutions that resonate on a deeper level. It's this ability to marry reason with emotion, logic with gut instinct, that makes their approach so powerful. They don't just solve problems, they create outcomes that stick because they're built on a foundation of both head and heart. Number 9. They attract without chasing. Sigmas don't waste time chasing validation or influence. They simply exist with a quiet confidence that draws people in without them even trying. It's not about trying to impress or hustle for attention. It's a natural magnetism that comes from being authentic, self-assured, and comfortable in their own skin. The way they carry themselves, the way they handle situations, and the way they interact with the world makes people want to be around them without any effort on their part. This magnetic quality isn't the kind of charisma that demands the spotlight or thrives on constant affirmation. It's the kind that makes people respect you without even knowing why. There's something undeniably compelling about a Sigma, a blend of inner strength, mystery, and wisdom that others are drawn to, often without even realizing it. They don't need to chase because the energy they give off is powerful enough to bring the right people and opportunities to them. What's remarkable is that Sigmas don't actively seek approval or acknowledgement. They have no need to prove themselves to anyone. Whether it's in professional circles, social settings, or even personal relationships, Sigmas command respect not by forcing it, but by simply existing as their true selves. People are drawn to the unspoken authenticity and the sense that a Sigma is someone worth knowing, someone who operates on a level that doesn't require any showmanship. This quiet magnetism makes them leaders in a way that doesn't feel like leadership at all. They don't strive to be at the center of attention. Instead, they allow others to be drawn to them and lead by example. It's not about convincing anyone of their worth. It's about being so secure in who they are that others naturally want to be a part of their world. The Sigma doesn't chase influence. They attract it effortlessly, and in doing so, they change the game around them. Number 10. They have no fear of walking alone. Sigmas don't just walk alone, they thrive in solitude. While most people are terrified of isolation, seeing it as a weakness or a burden, Sigmas embrace it as a source of power. This fearlessness in walking alone gives them the freedom to explore paths that others wouldn't dare consider, unconstrained by the opinions, expectations, or approval of the crowd. It's not that they don't care about others, it's that their confidence in their own autonomy is so solid that they don't need external validation to move forward. This fearlessness allows Sigmas to make bold, unconventional decisions that most people would never have the guts to pursue. Whether it's starting a business, traveling to unknown territories, or cutting ties with toxic relationships, Sigmas don't need the security of a crowd to feel grounded. They're comfortable with their own thoughts, their own company, and their own convictions. This allows them to take risks that others might deem reckless, but in reality, those risks are often the stepping stones to groundbreaking success. Where others see isolation as a lonely, uncomfortable place, Sigmas see it as fertile ground for growth, self-discovery, and creation. They understand that true growth only happens when you're free from the noise of other people's opinions and pressures. Walking alone doesn't mean being disconnected. It means being connected to something far more powerful, their own potential. This fearless autonomy gives Sigmas an edge in a world full of followers. While everyone else is waiting for permission, Sigmas are already forging ahead, creating their own path and shaping their own destiny. And by doing so, they inspire others to realize that they too can walk alone. And in doing so, they may discover the most powerful version of themselves. In a world obsessed with conformity, Sigmas stand as a testament to the extraordinary power of individuality. They don't follow trends, they create them. They don't chase approval, they attract it. Their quiet confidence, sharp intellect, and fearless independence make them a force to be reckoned with, not because they seek to dominate, but because they don't need to. They are the silent revolutionaries, the lone wolves who redefine what it means to lead, create, and inspire. Sigmas don't need the validation of the crowd to know their worth. Their value is innate, rooted in a deep understanding of themselves and the world around them. They walk their own path, unafraid of solitude, driven by an unshakable belief in their own vision. Their ability to balance logic with emotion, to connect the disconnected, and to see opportunities where others see obstacles, allows them to change the world in ways that are as profound as they are subtle. They may never seek the spotlight, but they will always leave a lasting impact. Sigmas prove that you don't have to conform to succeed. You just have to be willing to trust yourself, think without boundaries, and embrace the power of walking alone. The world may not always recognize them in the moment, but history will remember the trail they blaze, the bridges they build, and the boundaries they shatter. So while others are busy following the crowd, Sigmas will continue to quietly shape the future, and that future will be nothing short of extraordinary. If you've made it this far, then you're already part of the tribe. People who understand that true greatness doesn't follow the beaten path. It creates its own. If you found these insights valuable, hit that subscribe button and join a community that celebrates the power of individuality and transformation. Like if you're ready to take on the world, comment with your thoughts or experiences because we want to hear your voice. And don't forget to share this with anyone who's ready to break free from the ordinary and embrace their own Sigma potential. Remember, you're not just watching, you're part of the movement. Let's change the world, one extraordinary person at a time. Thanks for watching, my ladies. See you in the next video. Bye for now and God bless.